she can keep it all running, keeps it running. If she can keep it all running.
Hey YouTube fam, welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, my name is Lee. I love to make videos on lifestyle, fitness, and travel. If that sounds like something you are into, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so that we can be friends. Alright guys, so I know that this week's video is so late. I wasn't sure I was going to put out a video because I hate my lighting. Like ever since I moved, I don't know if it's because it's a bigger room, but I have my windows open, I have my overhead lights on, my ring light, and I just feel like it is so dark. So I was hesitant to film a video this week, but then something crazy happened to me and I was just like, you know what? let me film a little story time because I know a lot of you guys like my story time. So I'm gonna go ahead and just film a story time for you guys this week, and then hopefully I can get some better lighting in here and be back on schedule. So yes, this story time is on why I called 911 on Valentine's Day, which was yesterday. It's 2 days ago. It's 2 days ago. So yes, but it was at night. So anyways, let's get into the story. So it all started when I was a baby. No, I'm definitely playing. But it kind of did start back then. So when I was a kid, my dad was so strict. And so we never was allowed to celebrate Valentine's Day. So whenever it was Valentine's Day, me and my brother would come home and he would pretty much stand by the door with a big ass trash bag and make us throw all of our candy and Valentine's away. So ever since then, I pretty much just never celebrated Valentine's Day. So I just grew up, and now that I'm in a whole ass relationship, it's just not that important to me. So my boyfriend was like, oh, you don't want to celebrate Valentine's Day? That is a-okay with me. So we both were just like, you know what, like let's not do nothing. Like we really not into it. So pretty much we don't celebrate Valentine's Day. So on Valentine's Day, the whole day went by. We were just hanging out. We ate breakfast together, watched some movies together. It was just a really chill, regular Sunday for us. And so then at nighttime, we was just like, you know what, it's getting late. We need to figure out what we're gonna eat for dinner. And especially with everything that's like closed, we're still living in COVID times, it's not really that many options. So we knew we was definitely gonna carry out. So it took us maybe 20 minutes to actually decide on the lucky restaurant. We're in a new area, so we really don't know anything. So this was definitely gonna be our first time going to this restaurant. It's not that far from the house. And we're like, you know what? This sounds good. It's Italian food. That's my favorite kind of food. So we were just like, okay, let's try it out. So I called the restaurant and I'm like, hey, what time do you guys close? They said that they close at 10 o'clock. It's like 8:50. So I'm like, okay, we got pretty much plenty of time to get to this place before they close. We could put our order in. No big deal. So I ended up ordering spaghetti and my boyfriend ended up ordering a calzone. We place our order and we pretty much get dressed and we get in the car and go straight to the place, okay? So it probably wasn't even a whole 15 minutes later and I get a phone call while I'm in the car driving to go pick up my food. I get the phone call, I answer the phone, which is like surprising, I know, for a lot of people because people don't be answering numbers that they don't know. I don't know what the thing is, what the deal is, who y'all be running from, who you scared from, but I answer my phone if I see the phone ringing and I'm by it and I'm available, I'll answer it. But it's a lot of people I know that don't be answering their phone. So leave a comment below if you are a person that answers your phone or if you're a person that ignores a phone call if you don't recognize the number. I hate people like that, by the way, because sometimes it's an emergency and you don't answer. I hate people like that. So I see a number I don't know, I answer it. And lo and behold, it is the restaurant. So the restaurant is calling me and they're saying, hey, we decided that we're gonna close early. Can you come pick up your food? And I'm instantly blown, right? Because I'm like, I called to see what time y'all were closing. Y'all said y'all was gonna close an hour from now and it's not even 15 minutes later and you're telling me that y'all closing and I need to come get my food. So I tell the lady on the phone, you know, hey, I'm less than 5 minutes away. I'm actually on my way. I'll be there in no time, okay? Which I really was. I was only like 5 minutes away from the restaurant at this point. So I pull up in front of the restaurant. It has a glass front, but you really can't see because it's like kind of dark in there. So all I can see is like the person like behind the counter or whatever, like the person that's gonna ring us up, the greeter. So I decided I'm not gonna get out the car. I'm gonna go ahead and just let my boyfriend get out the car and get the food, because I'm already like, you know what, I don't even want to go in. Like, I don't even want to go in. So I'm sitting in the car. He gets out, goes inside the restaurant. I see him talking to the person behind the counter, the young lady behind the counter, and then he comes back out with no food. So in my mind, like, I'm like, is it not ready? Like, they called us and the food wasn't even ready? Or, you know, did my dumb self, that I like call it in for like a restaurant across town? Like, is this the wrong restaurant? Like, it's so many questions coming through my head, right? So my boyfriend comes up to the driver's side, because I was driving, and I rolled down my window and I'm like, what's going on? Like, where our food at? And so he's like, y'all, with a straight face. He's not joking. He don't have no type of emotion on his face. With a straight face, he's just like, there's somebody inside the restaurant having a seizure and we can't pick up our food. And so I'm like, what? What? And so he's like, yeah, there's somebody inside the restaurant having a seizure, so we can't pick up our food. I'm just like, I don't know like what came over me, but I just hopped into like this, let's call me double O Lee. I just put like this persona on, because I don't recognize this person. And I get out the car and I go inside the restaurant, okay? There's one lady behind the counter. There's a guy, let's see, I would say he's probably like in his late 20s. And then there's a girl on the floor having a seizure. And so if you never seen someone have a seizure or you don't really know what it is, I'm gonna insert a clip of like kind of like what it was that she was doing. So I walk into a scene like that, and so I take off my coat and I go to help. So I take off my coat, I ask the lady behind the counter to hand me some gloves. She hands me some gloves. I put my gloves on, and of course I have my mask on still, and I assist. So the guy is just kind of like, he's like trying to keep the girl from hitting her head, okay? So he's kind of like using his body to block the girl and the floor, kind of like a barrier between the girl and the floor. So I'm like, I get up to her and I'm just kind of like, you know, just trying to keep her calm. But I know that like you can't really stop people from having a seizure. They pretty much is going to go through the entire seizure, and you just kind of just have to try to protect them and yourself as much as you can, but it's not really much that you can do. So as I'm helping, I noticed that there is blood everywhere. And if you know me in real life, you know like that is not my thing. Like I'm not the auntie that's dealing with, you know, my nephews scraping their knees and kids throwing up and changing diapers. That is not me. That is not me. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm freaking out because there is blood everywhere. And so then I would say 3 minutes goes by and the girl is kind of like regaining consciousness. And so I'm like, you know, touching her, like kind of like putting my hand on her, soothing her like this on her leg, like knee area. I'm soothing her like this, and I'm just like, hey, you know, everything's okay. You just had a seizure. We have the paramedics on the way. And so, oh, I forgot to tell y'all, in the midst of all of this, I'm like taking control of the situation. So I'm telling the guy like, hey, this is what you do. I'm telling the girl behind the counter, I need you to call 911 and tell them this, this, and that. So I'm just taking complete control over the situation. And I think that nobody at no point in time asked me, are you a nurse? I think that I was pretty much the oldest person there, and like I'm not even 30 yet. So it was just pretty much some younger people. They was just looking for somebody to like help them, and I just walked in at the right place at the right time, and I knew what to do. And it was just so surprising because I've never, you know, I've never witnessed anybody have a seizure before. But I just knew what to do because my mom her clients have a lot of seizures, and so she tells us stories and tells us like what to do. But I'm not a nurse. I never been in a situation like that. I just took control of the situation because they needed a leader, and you know, I'm just a natural born leader, you know. So I had already instructed the girl to call 911. So as the girl is regaining consciousness, I'm asking her questions and stuff, and I'm just letting her know, hey, this is the situation. You had a seizure. Everything is going to be okay. The paramedics are on their way. And the guy is like, the guy that's with me, he's like freaking out. He's not with me. I'm sorry. It's the guy that's like there, but I ain't never seen this man a day in my life. I never been in this restaurant a day in my life. So he's just like, oh shit. Like, you know, he's talking to the girl. They're co-workers, but this girl had only been working there for 3 days. So nobody knows who she is. Nobody really knows her. And like, they just as clueless about it as I am. So he's just like, man, you scared the shit out of me. And she's like, oh, why? And he's like, because you had a seizure, you're bleeding everywhere. And she's like conscious, but she's not really coherent. So she's just like, oh, okay. And he just keeps like saying it over and over and over again because he's freaking out. So he's like, man, like you scared the shit out of me. And then she's like, oh, really? Why? And he's like, because you had a seizure, man, there's blood everywhere. And then she's like, oh. And then he's like saying it again and again, but it's not really registering. So then I'm like trying to ask her, you know, more helpful and like direct questions. So I'm like, you know, hey, how old are you? And she's like, I'm 25. So she's answering some stuff. She's like, I'm 25. And then I'm like, okay, what's your name? And she tells me her name. And I said, you know, is there somebody that we can call for you? And she's like, oh, you can call my mom. And I'm like, okay, you know, where's your phone? And she tries to like get up. Right? She tries to get up because she is not registering in her brain that she had a seizure. So she's trying to get up and we're like, no, don't move. Just sit there. Just sit there. And as, you know, as I'm there and I'm kneeling and I'm like, you know, rubbing her and I'm trying to calm her down and keep her calm and help her. All I can picture is like, you see like those movies where they always show like the dead body and you just see like the pool of blood that they're laying in and it's just like seeping towards you. Like it was like that in real life. The only difference is the blood was just a brighter color, but it was just so much blood. Like I don't know how she was even talking. Like it was just so much blood, and I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it. So then like the paramedics are about to be on their way, and the girl that's behind the counter, she's just holding the phone. After I told her to call 911, she's just holding the phone, and she's just kind of like in shock. Like she's just standing there, and I could just picture her just like rocking back and forth while she's like waiting for the paramedics to come. And then the guy that I never met in my life is just like, man, you had a seizure, you scared the shit out of me, there's blood everywhere, there's blood everywhere, there's blood everywhere. And then I'm just like, you know, you're gonna be okay. So it's definitely 3 totally different responses to this situation. So the girl on the phone is like, oh, the paramedics said to come outside and wave them down, right? So I run outside, and when I'm outside, I see that my boyfriend is sitting in the car. And so everybody just handles like emergencies and like trauma differently. So he's sitting in the car. So I'm giving him instructions. I said, hey, the paramedics are coming. I need you to wave them down when they get here and tell them to come inside. He gets out the car and he does exactly, you know, what I say. So I go back inside because I'm like, I can't leave that man with the girl by herself because he is freaking out. He's freaking out and he's making her freak out. So I get back inside. I'm keeping her calm and she's like shivering. So I noticed that she's shivering. So my coat that I had took off when I got there, I put it over her. So I'm like, okay, my coat is just gonna have blood on it. Like I'm just not gonna wear this coat again. But I don't want her to like, you know, be cold or like go into shock or anything like that. I'm trying to just keep the situation real calm. I'm just trying to just make the best of what it is. So I put my coat over her and she kind of like stops shivering and she warms up a little bit. The paramedics come, they're asking her questions and stuff, and they put this neck brace on her and they make note of like, just like how much blood is on the ground and stuff like that. And they pretty much cart her away to the nearest hospital. So I was talking to the girl behind the desk and I just said, you know, just make sure that you call her family or whatever. The girl's boyfriend was actually gonna meet them at the hospital. So everything was good with that. And the guy like that was there, that was like, you know, bracing his, like pretty much acting as like a pillow between the girl and the floor. He has blood all over him. I didn't really have that much blood on me, and there wasn't that much blood on my coat. But he had blood all over him because he was the one that was putting the pressure on the back of her head to like hold hold the blood in. So it was just crazy. It was just crazy. And I just think that, wow, like I wonder how would the situation have gone if like I wasn't on my way, or like we didn't order food from there and they just, you know, just the two people that was there had to help the girl having a seizure and they had no experience. But I think a lot of times in emergency situations, people just need someone that can like be a leader and take control of the situation, because I think everyone is just so scared and it's such a traumatic situation that I think they just need someone to tell them what to do, because like some people just can't think in situations like that. And I didn't know that I was one of those people. I did not know that I was one of those people, but apparently I can take control of a traumatic and scary situation. So then after everything calmed down and the paramedics took the young lady to the hospital, the woman behind the desk, she was just out of it. She was out of it. And her coworker, the man that was assisting, he tried to talk to her about the situation, but he's still like freaking out. So he's just like, man, there was blood everywhere. There's blood everywhere. And she's just like, I just can't, I can't talk to you about this right now. I'm not ready to talk about it. And so then she just was like shutting him down. So they ended up giving me my food for free. And they're just like, you know, thank you so much for helping out in a situation. We're so glad that you were here. Like you really, you know, you really helped us. And I think it's because they thought I was a nurse. I really think that they thought I was a nurse. But not one time did anybody ask me was I a nurse, and not one time did I say I was a nurse, because I'm not a nurse. Like I do security. But I think people just like to have, you know, they just want to believe what they want to believe so that they can feel calm. They just want to feel calm. So I ended up getting my food for free. I was shaking so bad because it's just so much adrenaline. And by the time I got home, I was just like, I have no appetite. I'm not even hungry no more. And the fact that my spaghetti just reminded me of like all the blood and stuff that was on the floor at the at the scene of the incident. So I definitely did not eat my spaghetti that night, but I did have it the next day and it was pretty good. But anyways, that is my story of why I had to call 911 on Valentine's Day. Definitely was not expected. Did not see my Valentine's Day going like that, but you know, if not who? Look, I want to. If not me, then who? So it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that, you know, I was there and I was able to assist and keep everything calm. I think that the girl is gonna be fine. So if you are watching this, I remember her name, but I'm not gonna say it. But if you're watching this, hey girl, I'm glad you're okay. But yeah, so that is my crazy Valentine's Day story. So alright, you guys, if you like watching videos like this, I love telling story times. Probably I like all of the videos on my channel, and that's why I film them. But I have a lot of fun telling the story times because there's just so much craziness that happens in my life. So if you like my story times, check the comments below or the description box below, and I'll leave like a list of my favorite story times that I have on my channel. So alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to keep your actions intentional, your thoughts positive, and remember that hurt people. But today, it starts with us. We're not passing on any of that negative energy. When you do good, good comes back around to you. So always be the light in people's life. Alrighty guys, talk to you later. Bye.